Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio. Discover your spiritual gifts live.
Good morning and welcome to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts Live, show number 31. We are your hosts, Dave,
Vialet,
and Jason.
Our guest today is Dawna Campbell. Dawna Campbell has an international private practice where she works with clients in the areas of improving health, wealth, and relationships utilizing the theta healing technique. She also travels as a motivational speaker and instructor, sharing the techniques that she uses in interactive workshops. Her personal heart-centered healing philosophy uses universal love force energy to create the world a better place for all to live. Welcome, Dawna. Thank you for joining us.
thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, that's wonderful. So years ago, I also had theta healing, and I don't know if it's evolved since then, but go ahead and describe theta healing for the listeners, sort of philosophies and how it works.
Well, theta healing is a meditation technique and spiritual philosophy. So what we do is we teach you a roadmap or a meditation to access what we call an energy of creator, which is a universal love force energy. And through it, it's the access of that we can witness instant change, instant manifestation, instant creation. And anything that's created in the body can be discreated and recreated again, because what we're doing is we're accessing a theta brainwave. And through that theta brainwave and a power of witness, we can direct and focus that energy to witness the changes for ourselves and for others. And it works on all levels, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And after, over a decade of doing this with clients, I have found that most people want to increase or have better health, wealth, and relationships. So what they're really asking for is happiness, prosperity, and love to come into their life. And so that's how I utilize the technique with my clients.
Well, let's go into a little bit more detail. So in a client session, what does that look like as you're working with them?
Well, client sessions can be either in person or on the phone. And what we do is we go and we use the meditation technique to access the theta brainwave. And then we share that with the other, access that theta brainwave with the client. And then through that, we have what I call it mindless free. But what we do is we start with a conscious thought, whatever it is that the client would like to change. And just like dog whispering or just like horse whispering, we're going to find out what started that whole train of thought. So we start with a conscious thought. We're only consciously aware of about 10% of what's going on. So that other 90% is our subconscious. And that theta brainwave allows us to access the subconscious. So we start with the existing thought, and we ask questions to find the thought under the thought, under the thought, under the thought, under the thought, to see where the whole energy pattern got started. And then through that power of witness, we change the energy pattern based on what the client learned, releasing the negative or the lower vibrating emotion, thought, or feeling, and invoking the higher, and then the thought pattern shifts and changes and the new behavior comes. So I'll give you a quick example. I was doing a presentation and I had a person come up to demonstrate the technique, and I asked him something that he wanted to change. And he said, I really want to have more income. I want more money. Not that I'm greedy or anything. I just want to provide a little bit more, a little bit extra for my family. I do fairly well now, but that little bit extra would really allow some other things to flow. So I asked him how he felt about not having the extra, not having the more, and he said, frustrated. And when I went and asked the questions to find the thought behind the thought, behind the thought, behind the thought, he felt it in his solar plexus area. And then we came back to a time when he was 13, and when he was 13, his parents got divorced. which changed the whole financial situation, and the more and the extra wasn't there. And he went through a very frustrating time. So what he wanted to know and learn to feel was how to be proud, or to be, and that he provided for his family. So frustration was teaching an energy or a virtue of being proud. So we were able to use the technique, keep what it was to be proud, but release the energy of the frustration. He immediately felt it in his solar plexus area, and it shifted and changed, and the frustration wasn't there. His viewpoint and his perspective when he was 13 completely changed, and now he's creating the extra, the more financially in his life for his family, but it's coming from a place of being and feeling proud. When it was coming from a place of frustration, it was stopping and blocking that energy going out for him to create the extra. Now it's coming from the energy of feeling proud, and that he could do it. The money flows through because that's a virtue.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can you tell us about some of the healing examples where people had health issues?
Oh, absolutely. I can think of one client in particular. She had called, and it was the second time that she had breast cancer, and she didn't want to go through the same conventional routes that she did the first time, and decided to go with alternative healing, came across theta healing, and I got the phone call. And so every time we go up and use the meditation technique, we always, what we call, witness the healing, to see if the energy will just instantly create the healing and the cancer leaves the body. And in this particular case, every healing is, well, I should just say every healing is instant in nature, but sometimes we have blocks and beliefs that stop us from receiving that healing. So it took me about 3 months working with her on a weekly basis to uncover all the different energy patterns that were holding her to the state of having breast cancer. And then one day I witnessed the healing, and I visually saw the cancer leaving her body. And then she went back to her doctor, because it was her doctor's appointment, and she tested cancer-free. Now, it's been 3.5, 4 years now, and she is still testing cancer-free. You have to go every 6 months for your checkup and the tests and everything, so it's still there. And it was just releasing enough of the energy she held onto to change the state of the physical body, that the cancer physically left the body. So in healing work, it works the same. If the healing didn't happen or change the physical body or the emotional state instantaneous, there's a block or something in the energy field we need to find to uncover that, to change or recode that energy differently, and then we can start creating the change that the person wants.
Dawna, will you explain a little more about what it means to witness the change? Be a little more descriptive there, because I think that's a significant piece of what you do.
It is, and what we mean by to witness, and we often use the word visualize, but what we really mean is to sense. And what we do is we use all of our spiritual gifts, our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our claircognizance, and all of our other senses. Sometimes it might be smell, sometimes it might be taste. And what we're doing in that visualizing process is we're sensing the energy shift and change. We all have these spiritual gifts. And so what we do is I take people through a little visualization process to understand where their gifts come from, so you know how to read and interpret the energy, because we have to translate it to words. So you can close your eyes and picture a dog and look at a tree, feel the color purple, and then, go to a park, and you can visualize or experience those in your mind. And then we bring in the elements of the different gifts. Well, what did it feel like? What did it taste like? Did you hear sounds at the park? Was there a dog there? And so we can take that energy and see and translate when we witness the energy change for the other person, because it comes through the senses, so you know that a change took place. The client also senses the energy shift and change as well, and they're feeling it within their own spiritual gifts, because they feel different, or they just know that it's different, or they may see that it's different based on what their gifts are. So we do engage the spiritual gifts, we magnify them, and we show you how to use them in that witnessing process, because it's all about tapping into that.
It sounds like it's really supportive of something else you might have in place, right? If you were using some other processes or had some other gifts, it really is leveraging those and kind of amplifying all of that and focusing it. Is that correct?
It does, because you're using what you already know and what you're already familiar with. If we were just to look at the four clairs, the clairsentient, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and claircognizance, we all have those four gifts. One or two might be more dominant than the other two. And it's using that, what you're familiar with, to know how to read the energy. And then as those develop even more, the ones that you don't have as strong will begin to develop as well, and it starts adding to your repertoire, to your tool bag, so to speak, the different gifts, so you can start using them in different ways. So we start with where you are at, we magnify them, and then you start learning and understanding and receiving how the other ones work, because as you shift and change, your gifts open up as well and more come in.
There was another thing that I remember when I took my training, and I don't know if they still promote it or use it, but I found it very powerful, and I still use it, and that's the idea that you can go in and modify, fix, or repair DNA. Is that still a part of the system?
It is, and actually it's because of where we hold our beliefs. We hold our beliefs on four main levels. The first level is our core level. This is our day-to-day experience. Most of our beliefs here are formed between the ages of 0 and 9. So from our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, our friends, our teachers, we form beliefs. The second way we form beliefs is through the DNA. Now, our DNA gets encoded with all of our family information, and from the time you were conceived, you had operating instructions and a belief structure to operate from, given to you by your parents. And beliefs held in the DNA, this is that whole study of epigenetics, of how beliefs can be passed down from generation to generation. Then the third level that we hold our beliefs is on a history level. The only difference between that and the genetic level is how many generations ago is does it go back in the family line, and then where the witness is at in the body. And then the fourth level is the soul level, where we hold our beliefs, because whether or not you believe in reincarnation and past lives, you still dream at night, and when you dream at night, you're still learning, and you'll learn beliefs or pick up things from the dream time as well. Now, what's interesting about the genetic and the DNA level that you were talking about, yes, you can go in and witness a healing and repair a physical gene. Or you can actually, in the first course that we'll be teaching, you can activate your youth and vitality genes, reverse programs for getting older and aging, because your DNA can be changed, encoded, and recoded differently. So if there is something in the DNA that we find genetically, or test something on a genetic level, or a belief handed down through the genetics, we can change it, and it will re-encode your blueprint differently and give your DNA a different set of operating instructions as well.
Very cool. Yeah, I remember I would go into an inner place to work on it, and I would actually see the DNA spread out in front of me, and I would see hot spots that were identified to go in and change pieces of the sequence or repair them.
Yes, absolutely. And DNA is actually one of the easiest things to witness a change on, because it's held together within a hydrogen bonds, and hydrogen bonds are really easy to shift and change. So DNA is real easy to change in that way and to witness, because it just happens really just by asking, and to see that and to know, and what gets encoded on the different parts of the sequences, and just see it change, it can change a person's life completely just by changing and shifting something in the DNA.
Does that change also impact generations forward?
It does, and it goes forwards and backwards because really time is an illusion. But if you shift and change something in your DNA, because your offspring have parts of your DNA, a percentage of it, it shifts and changes their DNA as well. It's kind of like that concept of the 100th monkey. One monkey does something, then two monkeys do something, and then pretty soon monkeys on another island are doing the same thing. And it's because we're all connected by this energy and by this DNA. And if they had the same set or similar DNA, it will shift and change them regardless of where they are at in the world, just by you shifting and changing yourself.
Wow. It's pretty awesome.
It's kind of powerful when you think about that. Every time I make a change and I'm better, then the whole world can shift and change and we can be better together and there can be more love. I mean, that's a pretty powerful place to be. So when they talk about that phrase, be the change you wish to see in the world, which I think is from Gandhi, you know, be the love you wish to see in the world. And if you can do that and make that small change yourself, how much better can the whole world be because we're all connected?
Well, something I haven't worked with in Theta is relationships. How do you use Theta with relationship work?
Well, if you are in a relationship, oftentimes there's something about that relationship a person would like to change or to make better. And relationships are all types of relationships. What they're really asking for is more love to come into them or into the situation. So whether it's your partner, your spouse, your children, a friend, whenever you want to work on with something with the relationship, it really does come down to that energy of love. I'm just going to use an example of a couple relationship because this is what, in one of the areas that I have worked on. Oftentimes, a person wants to come in and have their relationship be a little bit different than what it is. So they start coming in through the sessions, and then eventually we end up doing a private class for the two of them so that they can look at and see and understand what each person is going through and what they're doing to enhance the relationship. When we work on people in relationship issues, we can't tell you if you're going to stay together or if you're going to break up or anything like that because you have the power of free will and it takes two of you. So in a mother-daughter relationship, I have a couple of those that they both want to work on their relationship, but I work on them individually and independently to shift and change them, which brings them together closer in their relationship. And it might be something about the other person that they see, but what they see about the other person is really within themselves. So we make that change. But they work together. It's a symbiotic relationship. And every time you make a shift and change in one person, the other person's going to shift and change a little bit too. So you kind of alternate and go back and forth. And what it's doing is it's bringing them together closer in that relationship. Why? Because it's facilitating a love energy rather than the anger and the frustration that they had before. I've had couples who have come, who've done the work, and have decided to stay together and make the most of their relationship. And then I've had other couples that decided that they were better parting ways and moving on because they just grew to be completely two different people. Both scenarios are perfectly okay. It's what the people wanted and what was best for them. But what they were doing was they were facilitating the love that they had. And for the ones that parted, they had enough love for each other that they recognized they were better to be in a different place. Now, that's the opposite of what our minds want to think, because we want to think everyone should stay together, and that's not necessarily true for every person. What we want to do is facilitate the love in the relationship, and that's how we can use the work for it. It's up to you and your free will and choice and how to use that.
Very nice. Well, we're going to take a short break here for some important announcements about DYSG and opportunities there, so we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Vialet Rayne, Master and Teacher of Angelic Reiki at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. If you love angels, if you resonate with angels, or you're just interested in learning more about angels, most people really want to consider Angelic Reiki. But you know, Angelic Reiki is more than just working with the angels and learning a new healing modality. It's about ascension. And when you step into Angelic Reiki, you're not only working with angels, but you're working with ascended masters and galactic healers. The angelic kingdom of light, which includes all of those, steps in and helps you be able to hold more light. And what I have found along this journey is it expands your ability to be able to hold light, which raises your frequency, which accelerates your ascension process. So the individuals that step onto Angelic Reiki are really ready to step onto their spiritual path, learn more about angels, ascended masters, galactic healers, learn possibly a new healing modality that they'll use in their life, but also they're ready for those major shifts in their lives to really be on their spiritual path and take their journey to the next level. If you've been thinking about Angelic Reiki or you'd like to find out more about this beautiful modality, please don't hesitate to contact me, Vialet, at discoveryourspiritualgifts.com, or check out our website under classes. You will find Angelic Reiki there with lots of information about this program and the benefits of taking this course. We hope to see you in class really soon, and I hope to see you at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Well, welcome back to the show. Our guest is Dawna Campbell. We're talking about theta healing and her practice. So, Dawna, another question about relationships is, can you work with groups instead of just two people having a relationship? Can you extend to a group in some way? Maybe it's a family group, maybe it's a social group, or even bigger groups of maybe anonymous people who don't work well together.
Oh, absolutely. And it works in all contexts as well. I can think of groups of people that all work at the same place, and maybe there's a personal dynamic in there that's not working for them. And to come better, we can actually look at and see what those different scenarios are, what's happening, and understand, and then you can go and work with either the people individually or a little bit in a group setting. But beliefs are usually really personal, so we can go in and make those shifts and those changes to make a more cohesive environment, even a work environment. Most of the time, though, this technique is used individually, one-on-one, but in a group setting, there are certain things that you can do to facilitate the peace, the harmony, balance coming in to have more of that cohesive group. Absolutely. It would work in all contexts.
Do you use it on yourself? Is this one of those tools that you can use? Okay.
Every day since the moment I learned. It was, I started learning this technique at the beginning of 2010. So this is the start of my 11th year. And I don't know that a day goes by where I don't utilize the technique in some way. And one of the things that I learned, it was about halfway through, I remember there was a interaction that my children would have every day around the same time in the kitchen. And I had worked on myself enough that one day I just stopped and I looked and I went, wow, none of this bothers me anymore. And it used to. And I saw how I would have responded 2 or 3 years before and how I responded then in the moment. And it was completely different. And I felt completely different. So anytime that I have a block or a belief or something doesn't feel right in my life, or if I know I can do it a little bit differently, I do work on myself. And I work on myself to this day because I'm always finding something as my environment shifts or something changes and comes up. I can take a look at it and see what that is. One of the recent ways I worked on myself, we've all heard about this coronavirus, right? And I didn't know about it until last week, and 2 people mentioned it to me in the same day. So I said, okay, I will go up, I will connect, and I'm going to witness a healing to see what it was. And what I saw was an energy of people who had a belief of, I fear I am worthy. And I thought it was an interesting belief because I hadn't ever heard it. We were fearing our own worthiness. And I looked at that and saw how people were connected that way. And then, of course, we use a muscle test to talk to our subconscious, tested myself, and I had that belief. I feared I am worthy. So I was able to use this technique and change it. So now I am worthy without fear. And because I changed myself, I've worked on it with a couple of my clients. They've been changed. And just like that 100th monkey, we just keep going out and sharing so people can be worthy instead of fearing that they are worthy. And that's what I saw with the energy of the virus. And it can shift and change it. So those are positive ways that we can work on ourselves and not only impact ourselves individually, but impact ourselves and things globally. And people just don't even know. We can just share it as a gift.
Explain that emotion. Yeah, explain that emotion just a little bit more of fearing that you are worthy. Dig into that a little bit more.
Most of the time we fear that we are unworthy. But what I saw in that was we feared our worthiness, and what we were doing was making ourselves smaller or shrinking ourselves to not be as good or as great to be accepted by a group of people that all feared the same thing, rather than growing and magnifying who you really are so you can be the love that you want to change in the world. And when I saw that, and I saw that the fear of being worthy was really about the fear of stepping into your own power and into your own greatness, utilizing this energy and who you are as your own divine essence. And when you shift and change, that fear isn't part of that universal love force energy. It's not part of that frequency. And so we were fearing that frequency or that love. And when you release the fear of what it was, which for me was fearing that I wasn't loved, which isn't true, because we are all loved, each and every one of us, then that shift and change, that belief in the I fear I am worthy was gone, and it was just like I am worthy.
Okay, well, I cut off Jason a minute ago. Jason.
Well, it just seems to me that all of that is very, very handy, right? So not only can you affect change for yourself and the people you work with, but you can affect change on a higher level. And that's really the goal of all healing modalities, is to have a positive impact, not just with the person that you're connected to, but to the people they're connected to as well. And like Vialet said, working forward and backwards in generations, and that's just powerful change that can happen instantly. Mm-hmm. I know when I found out about theta healing, that was a huge part of what appealed to me, because it is instant. It happens in the moment. And having done a session with Dawna, I can tell you that she asks the right questions. She has the right approach to things that uncovers it in a way that gets to the root without dragging you through a bunch of negativity. And then you just witness the change, and it really does have immediate effects. That's one of the reasons I'm so looking forward to Dawna, you coming here to Colorado, because you're going to be teaching theta healing for the first time here in Colorado in April. Isn't that right?
Yes, I am, at the end of April, and we're going to teach the first basic foundational course for theta healing, which we're going to show you how to use the subconscious energy bodies. We're going to show you how to use that meditation technique. We're going to talk about the spiritual philosophy, how to witness healing, and how to start changing some of those beliefs for yourself. So I'm really excited about coming, because it's what I love to do. So, and to share in the gift with what you love to do, not just for yourself, but others can go out and make that same impact. That's how it works, and it's how we can change the world.
I love it. I love it. Looking so forward to that. I've already got my seat reserved. I'm pretty sure Violet's in on that too.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
One of the other things I wanted to ask Dawna is something I found, and I don't recall if this was part of the training. I find that a lot of people spin off copies of themselves in parallel universes, and sometimes if they make a decision in this reality where they choose A, they may spin off a copy to experience B so that their spirit can experience the outcomes of both of those. Does anything in theta healing tie into possibly these parallel existences or how they may be affecting the person here?
In some of the upper classes in theta healing, it is mentioned but not really discussed, or like what you were saying, if you choose option A in this reality, option B happens in a different reality. We do illustrate that all time is now. It's past, present, and future. Time is an illusion, and we do show you how to work with the time. But the fact is you're here on this earth plane, and you're meant to be here on this earth plane. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so to experience on this. And so it's actually talked about as part of some of the different planes. There's 7 planes in an existence. We're here on the 3rd plane in Earth. The next plane, the 4th plane, is the realm of spirit. The 5th plane is the realm of the angels, the archangels, and the masters. The 6th plane is about the laws and the virtues, and the 7th plane is this real, raw power energy that starts all things. So if we're going into these other planes, what's happening is we're getting caught in these other time dimension spaces instead of just going all the way up to that universal love force energy and witnessing the change and having it all come in. Do parallel lives happen? Absolutely. Timelines connect, merge, and then unconnect as well, because we're living on multiple planes and existences all at the same time. But in theta healing, where we make our changes, we're here on Earth. So we look at everything from what we're doing here on a 3rd plane in existence, and then she calls the rest brain candy, because we can get caught up in other realities, but that other reality is not the reality that you're in here today, even though you have the ability to tap into it.
Oh, very cool. Thank you.
That was one of the things that working with you, Dawna, that I noticed you're always open to, is how things not only change, but how all things are possible, right? That there just aren't any real limitations. So can you help our listeners kind of understand where that philosophy comes from for you?
For me, I think part of it is just who I am internally and where I come from in the universe, because I come from this place that I just believe everything is possible from a state of goodness, from a state of kindness. Part of it was my upbringing, and in that it says, believe, for with God, with Creator, all things are possible. And that's the sign that I have in my office that I see every day that I'm in my office. And because I do believe in everything being possible, there are no limits, there are no limitations. It says, not only can you do these things, I can do more. And when you go up to the Creator, the energy of all that is, it's an unconditional love energy. It's a just is energy. So if you don't like something, you just change it. And through that, there's no limitations. It's all possible because you're tapping into the energy before it becomes anything else. And because of that, you can direct and focus that energy to exactly what you want it to become. And that's the power. So everything is always possible all the time. There are no limits. We're unlimited beings. Our energy field, our divine essence is infinite. And that's how we're designed to be. We're formless, and yet we have form here on this 3rd plane, on this earth plane, and we feel like we have limitations, but that's the physical body form that we're feeling, rather than understanding that your essence is far beyond anything that can be here on this plane.
So it sounds like a really powerful philosophy that what is missing for a lot of people is how to implement that, right? What are the tools to make that happen? And it seems like theta healing is something that really brings that forward. It gives you tools to reach these unlimited spaces. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, and that's the forefront of what's in my mind. I've been in the metaphysical healing art world for actually about 20 years. The last decade, of course, have been within theta healing, but I still study other modalities, and I'm still certified in other modalities as well. And I read and I study a lot. And what I have discovered a lot with the books and the different modalities, they all talk about, well, if you don't like it, change it, or you need to change that belief, and they give you their how-to method of doing it. And a lot of it is conscious work, like affirmation. Repeat this affirmation 10 times a day for 30 days, and it'll change your state. Well, that works on a conscious level, but your consciousness is only 10% of who you are. The other part is the subconscious, that 90%. And what theta healing allows us to do is to access the subconscious to that 90% and make the change there, line that up with what you consciously know 10% and have the change instant. And so you're not going through the consciousness to reprogram. What we do is we bring what it is that you want to change. We go to the subconscious to see, you consciously agree, and it tells the subconscious the new set of program instruction. So change is always instant, and then it becomes unlimited. It becomes open to all possibilities. And for that concept to understand, all things are always possible all the time, that's the end of the statement. It doesn't say if, because, only if you're worthy, if you did this. No, it's because you're here, you are, therefore it is. And if we have a difficult or a hard time making that change to what we believe to be possible, or we can't believe that it is possible, then there's a belief or something in the energy field that is blocking the flow of that energy to come through, and then we can shift and change that, and then the impossible then becomes possible. I think Alice in Wonderland was very wise, saying, I'm going to go out and do 7 impossible things just to show you that they're possible today. I truly believe that.
What else do you do, Dawna? What else? Because you have over the years combined some other things. You do some other things as well. So how is your practice expanded, and what sort of fun things are you doing now?
Oh my gosh. I'm doing a lot more public speaking now, and I'm doing a lot more video and film work. And I have a weekly radio show that's every Tuesday on Mind Body Radio that we talk about these different concepts. And then we're getting ready to actually film a pilot for a TV show coming out so we can reach more of the masses with what we're doing. And so those are just some of the little project work that I'm doing in addition to teaching and to my client sessions. And actually yesterday I just finished recording an online numerology class. I do teach numerology. I do teach a lot of other things, past life regression with crystals, a crystal grid class, an emotional release process. I'm also a Reiki master. I mean, we kind of learn all these different things to use them. And with the numerology, I was teaching it live, and I had some students that were overseas that asked me if I would put together an online course. So that should be coming out this next week, because numbers is frequency and vibration, and all of that relates to who you are, and you can uncover different aspects about yourself to understand you a little bit better, what you're meant to do here, your spiritual path on this earth, and then you get to move forward with that information and knowledge. And if there's something you don't like in there, we know how to change it and then make it even better for you. So those are just some of the other fun things that I do and that I work on that are outside of the realm of theta healing. But I do travel a lot. I do teach. I am coming to Colorado I also have an opportunity to go to Florianopolis, Brazil, where I'm also going to be teaching the class and doing some keynote speaking as well. So, and that'll be in March. So when I see you guys there in April, I'll be back, hopefully, with maybe a little bit of a tan. We're supposed to be near the beach, so we'll see.
That's always nice.
Well, I think we're approaching the end here. Are there any other events that you'd like to talk about, Dawna, that are upcoming for you?
You know, outside of these first set of foundational events that I'm teaching the basic class, I have other ongoing theta healing courses, even at my healing center here in Montana. And you can just look on my website, thetahearthealing.com, for all of that, for what the upcoming coursework is and the classes, as well as some of the older programs that are getting designed. And then also, I've been hosting on a private Facebook group page a program called Become Financially Fit. My prior career, I was actually in the financial services industry, and I was a managing principal, and I hired and trained people to become financial advisors. And so I spent 10 years doing that. And so what I've done is I combined my knowledge from the investment world with who we are as spiritual beings, and I'm developing this program called Become Financially Fit, which is how to start really increasing your prosperity and really everything else in your life by understanding how money works in your life and how to shift and change that through the energy body, our chakra systems, and that is something that I've just been doing. There's no cost to it. So if you're interested, just ask to join Become Financially Fit. And then you can go back and watch and see all the prior videos and the different graphics and things we're uploading there, but that'll be a whole program onto itself as well that's being developed. So just a fun way to learn and to grow and to make changes, knowing and understanding how our energy body works, how our gifts work, and really how it relates to you financially in our world.
That sounds great. There's so much happening this year astrologically. We just had the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, and some people see that as a very upsetting thing. I look at it as an opportunity where Pluto may come in and change the rules, and I think people need to be in a good position to take advantage of those potential changes in the rules, especially financially, as they look forward.
Absolutely. And what we don't realize and what we don't know is that the words we use to describe our spiritual essence are identical words that we use to describe our money, our financial system, and the universe doesn't know that you made a difference in are you speaking about your soul essence, or are you speaking about the money or your financial situation? The universe doesn't make that distinction. So how you look and feel about money is how you look and feel about yourself. And the words are almost synonymous. Quite interesting.
Well, that's some good insight there. I like that. So in support of the class at the end of April, we have, through Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, set up a couple of opportunities to meet Dawna through teleconference there at the center. It's a chance to see her mostly in person, at least digitally, and learn from her directly about what the beautiful investment theta healing can be and how it can be active in your practice and in your world. The first of those is March 16th, and then we have another one the first week of April. I'll be facilitating those classes, but you can come locally here in the Denver area to discover your spiritual gifts and get an opportunity to ask some one-on-one questions. And really, if you're looking to take the class, this is a great opportunity to step in and see if it's the right fit for you. So you can check that out on our Discover Your Spiritual Gifts website or through Dawna's information as well. So just something for our listeners to consider. If you're thinking theta healing might be for you, that's a great way to learn more and get connected.
Thank you, Dawna. I want to thank you for being on the show today and talking to all of us. This has been very informative about how the system works, and a lot of people are going to come away from this with a much better understanding of theta healing and its potentials for them, either as a treatment or as becoming practitioners themselves. So that's great. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited about coming and meeting all of you. I've spoken to you all on the phone. I know Jason. I got to speak with Vialet and now you, Dave. So thank you. It's been great, and I'm super excited.
Well, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in the center, and have a great time in Brazil. That sounds like a hoot. So
it'll be fun, I'm sure.
Well, and to all our listeners, thank you for listening to this show. Our next guest is medium Jennifer Lundberg. And please stay connected to this show. We're going to highlight several of our practitioners to talk about what they do, and that'll be very informative. So have a great week and take care.
Hi, my name is Heather Nichols. I'm a soul journey coach and the owner of Soulful Essence and Wellbeing. For the past several years, I've been on a quest to fulfill my full purpose of healing my past so I may learn to love myself unconditionally. I want to show others how they can do the same thing for themselves. My journey officially began in 2015. I became a Reiki master teacher to be a conduit of healing for myself and others. And I've always had an interest in hypnosis and self-development. And I finally stepped forward in my passion and found a program that helped me release negative emotions that were keeping me stuck in my past. I became a certified practitioner in this wonderful program and later studied Akashic Records and many other healing modalities. I'm beginning my new class series starting in March, and this class is for people who are ready to release emotional trauma and blocks from their past. This can be from past lives or this life. During this class, we'll explore what impact anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt has in our lives, how we react to people and situations because of our state of mind, why it's important to forgive ourselves and others. Then it's time to release. And we'll use time techniques to release anger and sadness, a guided meditation to release additional negative emotions, and I'll be giving you a workbook so that you can journal about your experiences. The class schedule is from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the following days: Saturday, March 14th, Saturday, April 11th, Sunday, May 24th, Saturday, June 13th, Sunday, July 19th, Saturday, August 15th. And you can register at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Facebook, Meetup, or Eventbrite, or at Soulful Essence and Wellbeing on Facebook. You can also register on my website at Soulful Essence, the letter N, wellbeing.com/classes. I look forward to seeing you in my class.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Mayer, Sister Sip Circle Facilitator and owner of Insight and Alchemy. I hold intentional events designed to provide transformational and soulful experiences. I serve by facilitating spiritual and tangible connection that enriches and empowers women in their expression, leadership, and lives. We have monthly sacred women's circle gatherings at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Each month, we focus on different themes like self-love indulgence, expanding blessings, and activating abundance. We come together to honor our authentic selves, sisterhood, and the divine. In this safe and sacred circle container, we speak our truths, embody our intentions, and create action in ceremony. Circle is a confidential and supportive space where you're invited to openly share without interruption or unwanted feedback. Instead, you are beamed with loving energy while being seen, heard, and honored for just being you. We dig deep to raise the individual and universal vibration, healing sisterhood wounds, and shifting the paradigm of competition, isolation, and fear. Each circle is unique and offers magic and medicine co-created by all the women who come together. When you join us in Circle, you receive what you are meant to receive while enriching the experience for your sisters simply by being you. Won't you join us? Check our Circle Gathering calendar and reserve your spot by visiting insightandalchemy.com, discover your spiritual gifts, or sistershipcircle.com/events for circles being offered in Colorado and around the world. Connect with me in Circle or contact me at tiffany@insightandalchemy.com to learn more about our monthly circles or schedule a private gathering. Blessings.
Do you have an interest in starting the practice of meditation but don't know where to begin? Have you already developed a meditation routine but want to expand your repertoire of techniques? Join Ruby Wayward for Meditation Mondays starting March 23rd. Meditation Mondays is a series of 6 meditation sessions starting from an introduction of meditation and breathing techniques, then building up your skills until the final Zen meditation session. Each session includes a talk about the technique of the month, a guided meditation through the process, a group discussion about our experiences, and we'll close with another meditation. You'll be encouraged to practice each technique between sessions, and you'll have the opportunity to discuss your practice and gain encouragement from your Ruby teacher and your meditation mates. By the end of the last series, you'll be well trained in a whole repertoire of meditations and will be confident in your practice. Dates and registration for the series can be found on the Discover Your Spiritual Gifts website under Classes, then select Meditation Series. You can drop in to any individual class or gain certification and a gift from Ruby by attending all Meditation Monday sessions. Angels are loving messengers and guardians, helping us find our way on our life mission and protecting us on the journey. Are you seeking an angelic perspective of yourself or situation? Ruby Wayward is an angel intuitive, using her intuition, angel tarot, and oracle cards to provide angelic perspective readings. Learn which angels are helping you or wanting to work with you, and gain insight from your guardian angels. Ruby not only works with angels, but with other mystic manifestors, messengers, and elementals like the dragons, unicorns, and fairies. Ruby can connect with you to your personal dragon, channel messages from your unicorn, and guide you in best practices with the fairies. Find Ruby Wayward as a reader at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts every second Sunday of the month. Walk-ins are welcome, or call Discover Your Spiritual Gifts at 720-573-4275 to set up an appointment.
Discover connection, awaken sacred